the latter session, talking about revitalizing culture. And I want to just kind of throw this out there just for a little bit on Ezekiel 37. It's an interesting passage of scripture that says, "Can these dry bones live? Son of man, what do you see?" He says, "Dry bones," and he tells them to prophesy. I just want to give you a few things that I think are important. In the midst of all this chaos that Ezekiel is coming into terms with, underneath all of this chaos is said to be a great army. But there are some things that you need to do to create this great army. And he says, well, first you need to prophesy. I think we got that down pat in church, prophesying. But then he says, speak to them, prophesy. But then when you think about bones, bones speak to structure. So a lot of times we're asking God to give us more, but we don't have the bones in place, but we have the prophetic word in place. And so the prophetic word is important because it causes us to see what we are supposed to, the prophetic word gives us an inclination or a vision on what God has told us to look forward to. But it also needs structure to live because these bones are important. But then he talks about muscles. When we think about muscles, muscles only attach to bones. So strength attaches to structure. If you don't have strength, maybe it's because you don't have structure.
That's good. That's good.
So we got the prophetic. We need strength. We need people who have the strength to get it done. We also need the structure. So here it is. Let's talk about culture. Culture. Culture changes every 4 years, and it is said the church changes every 20. Culture changes every 4 years, and it's said the church changes every 20. So as Bishop alluded to, preaching styles, my church loves when we preach hard, that they enjoy that, but they also enjoy teaching too. And there used to be a cultural time where they used to say, well, he didn't preach because he didn't raise his voice, he didn't close. But now we're finding that some of the speakers that are invited across the country are not closing at all.
Yeah.
Some of our more tweetable ones or reshared YouTubers, they're not necessarily closing or dumping the church. Culture has changed. Do you remember the day when there wasn't a screen in the service? Now you will have, when you come in like, oh, what is screen at? You didn't expect me to bring the Bible. Right? So culture has changed in such a way to remember everybody played the organ. There wasn't nobody playing the keyboard. There wasn't a big deal to play the keyboard. But now, people are like, hey, okay, you got an E3, but where's the keyboard? Because culture changes every 4 years. All right, let's look at the even bigger culture change that's facing a lot of us. People used to come to church every Sunday. My parents were there every Sunday. It didn't matter. Labor Day, 4th of July, it didn't matter. We go to church, and then I don't know if y'all do this, we went to church twice. We were with us. We went on Sunday morning and we came back Sunday night. Sunday night service. And there was no children's church and no comfortable pews like these. Ours was made out of straight wood. And so culture has changed. Now we got, plush benches because we want people to be comfortable. We got decor and all these type of things. But the reality is that people don't go to church every Sunday anymore. The average attendee goes to church, they say, 18 to 20 times a year, and they're considered faithful. Just go outside on a Sunday morning. Remember, you used to go outside Sunday morning, neighbors putting on their church beds, and we all go different directions, going to Catholic church, Protestant church, but we going somewhere. I don't know what you wait till now you get up Sunday morning, car still in the driveway, still in the garage, changed every 4 years. The church used to be the leading voice in the civil rights movement. We were the voice. We are no longer the leading voice in the civil rights. That's been co-opted by a whole other generation of grassroots that said we don't need the church. The church is in the first situation where they figured out a way to not necessarily need to involve the church, which is very problematic because our relevancy is decreasing. Relevancy is decreasing. So culture changes every 4 years. I was cleaning out my closet yesterday, and I had some nice clothes. They were nice, but they were a little too baggy. Now we're in a generation where things got to fit a little more tighter, a little form-fitting. So all the suits that all of us got, bishops and pastors that are wide legs, they're no good no more. You almost got to go get them tapered because people are like, man, that ain't the style anymore. Because nothing was wrong with the jeans, but the culture changed. When culture changes, it forces us to make changes. Challenge for me was there were some clothes I'm like, I really like it. And I was like, you ain't worn that in 2 years. But I was so in love with the idea of what I used to wear that I could not let it go and realize I don't wear this no more. How many of us have adopted a culture that we really don't use, but we just like it? So here's what I say to our worship team. I say you need to sing everything because everyone needs to be touched.
That's good.
Don't let your preference become our ministry. I want to hear Hillsong, I want to hear CCM, I want to hear black gospel, I want to hear hymnals, I want to hear it all. Don't let your preference become the ministry. Because preference is dangerous. Don't let everybody starve because you don't like to eat what they eat.
That's good.
Right? So culture, that's an important piece. Culture changes every 4 years. Remember, for culture, as it relates to cultural speaking, you only have one time to make an impression. They're not going to give you a second. And remember, the impression that you made on one, you made it on 7 others. Because the rule is 7. People are going to tell 7 people about their experience. So I went to Bethune Wings, or what it's called, Bethune Grill. Yeah, so yeah, she felt that in the spirit. So I went there and it was incredible. Their wings are really good. So now you go online and say, man, this place is really good. I've tried a lot of places. If you're ever in Daytona, you need to try this place. And so now that goes to however many followers you have on your social media page, so forth and so on. And now because culture changes every 4 years, information is faster now. It's not that this stuff is new, it's just that you're able to get it quicker. Same things are happening, it's just quicker. So because culture changes every 4 years, we must think about the core of culture. One of the books that I enjoyed reading prior to, I think it was last year, was one of the books on the Ritz-Carlton culture. And the Ritz-Carlton is created a culture by which people pay a high level of dollars to stay at this particular place because of the culture. And they have books written about it, they have training sessions on it because the Ritz-Carlton knows how to host culture. It's not so much about the hotel, it's about the culture they've created. And so I think that as we're talking about revitalizing or transformative culture, there's some interesting insights that we can bring to our church culture and parallel them and find how they work collectively together. So here's one thing, when you go into the Ritz-Carlton, they always are greeting you with a warm and sincere smile. Doesn't matter if they're the bellman, because they understand that you don't have to spend your money with us. I don't think the church gets that. You know, there are hundreds of churches by our church. Our visitors, which we don't call them visitors, we call them guests. We feel like visitors makes you feel totally excluded. Guests makes you kind of feel like I'm a part of the family. I'm not leaving. I may not be here long, but I'm a guest. I'm not a visitor. Notice they don't say, you're a visitor in the hotel. hotel. They say you're a guest in our hotel. Language matters. Language doesn't matter. And so, I know we traditional cultures that, hey, if you're a first-time visitor, stand, tell us who brought you. Are you saved? Are you right with God? And it's just like, hi, my name is David. I was brought by him. I was just smoking a pipe last night, and he told me to come to church. Thank you for having me. Well, now culture says, I don't want to be invasive. I want to be private. I want to be able to come, hide, and leave. That's what culture is. And you and I have to be okay with not being able to, how do we get the same results without having to do the type of work that we used to do? So number two is they use the guest name. It's important that we get to know people and we get to know their name, know what they do. Ask them the question, well, what's your name? And if you're a small church, you see people every time. But can you go deeper and instead of saying, Sister Joe, how you doing? Of course you don't say blessed. Okay, that's the standard church answer. We just adapted that. You could have lost your husband this morning. How are you? Well, I'm blessed. How are you really doing? So we like to oftentimes use the question instead of how are you doing? It's a simple set of people. How you doing? Well, I'm blessed. Well, how's your soul doing? Oh, my soul? Good. I'm trying to get deep on it. Well, it's important because we need to make sure that we're moving beyond the surface. Change the culture of the church. Because I didn't know Sister So had high blood pressure and diabetes. You never really asked. So we have to change the culture of how we are doing what we do by creating a culture that is more inquisitive, not for gossip, but for sincerity. Number three is anticipate the need. They anticipate people's needs before they have the need. So, you got shoes, and they say, well, do you need someone to shine those shoes because you got a meeting tomorrow? We see you here on business. Do you need anything dry cleaned? And they're doing these things because they're anticipating the need. They want to make sure they meet your need before. If I see you have a kid, I'm asking, are you looking for children's church? Let me show you where it is. And if you say to someone there, where's the restroom? They'll say, over there. Right. You got to remember, you're familiar with this church. I'm not. I've never been here. So you're over there around the corner to the right. I don't know what that means. Is there someone going to jump out at the right corner? It is more preferable. It is more culturally driven to say, let me take you to the restroom. And that small step seems small, but it's a big step to someone who just came to this big old place. They see these screens, they see these people, and they're intimidated, and they don't want to be out of order, because the worst thing you want to do is be out of order in church. And so we can make that process so much more seamless by changing our culture. It takes 7 years to change an organization. Not going to change it overnight. That's good. So that's why a pastor transitions into it. It's harder to transition a church than it is to start a church. Because you got to come in and change what's already been done. Well, old Reverend didn't do it that way. He didn't. Sometimes we want Joshua. Sometimes we want Moses, even though Moses is dead. That's good. So here's the thing. Culture determines how receptive people are to new ideas. For some, he was okay, he's too radical. That's cool. But that's determined by the culture. If the culture is, we always do it this way, that's the way we're going to do it, anybody new can give you a new solution, it ain't going to change because we like the way you do it. It's just like my father. He is 76 years old. At 76, we are not going to change him. He's set in his way. He's going to do it the way he's always done it. And that's fine. But you got to understand, what's frustrating for someone else is trying to change someone that really doesn't want to change. So culture determines how receptive people are to new ideas. It also encourages or suppresses creativity. If you have a culture that's micromanaged, you're going to suffocate all ingenuity that's in the congregation, all creativity that's in the congregation. Well, let's do a praise dance. That's of the world. Okay, great. We won't do that. Praise God. So if we suffocate ingenuity, we miss out on the great gifts that are in the church. We miss out on the great songs that are in the church. I'm not saying let them come up there and do whatever they want, but I am saying that if you want people to conform to your way, you got to first allow them to transform before they can conform.
That's good.
Okay? So here it is. Does your culture build up or deflate enthusiasm? Does it create a sense of pride or discouragement? Does it shape individual morale, teamwork, effectiveness, and outcome? Remember, people do and repeat what we reward. Thank you, Sister Joe, for bringing somebody. Sister Joe Stanton, I want everybody to see. Thank you so much for bringing everybody. Thank you for bringing the visitor today. Thank you for bringing the guest visitor. We so appreciate you. Man, why he celebrating her? I want that celebration too. I'm going to bring somebody myself. Sister Joe, you're going to show me up next week. I'm going to show Sister Joe. The church folk competitive now too. Don't get twisted. Sister Joe, you know that credit. Why? Because we reinforce what we want to see. We don't use our platform to talk about what we don't want to see. Because a lot of times we use our platform to vocalize things that the people don't know nothing about.
That's good, man.
You got, they weren't here for a revival. You fussing them all out that are here. Well, there should be more people here than this. Where are all the people? They at home. The people are like, why you beating us? We here. And we here. We are here. So as a leader, I create a culture to where our church knows when there are guests, we need to be present. Now there's going to be people who just don't show up. They don't care who's Jesus could come, they still will come. But the reality is that you need to create whatever culture you want to create, that's what you create. So we created a culture from New Members Class that says, when there's guests, you need to be present. We pay for guests to come to our church. We want you to be present. We do not want our guests to come in and not see anybody there, because that's an embarrassment to you. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and it is something that our church takes pride in. Now people know first Wednesday is when we typically have our guests. First Wednesday, people know if I'm going to skip any Wednesday, it ain't going to be first Wednesday, because the culture has been set. We don't negotiate first Wednesday. Other Wednesdays, do whatever you want. Pick the Wednesdays you want. But first Wednesday, as best as you can, make it to church. So here's a free piece of advice, and this is free. Next one's cost. So it's like the pastor who does pastor appreciation on Friday. Then he gets upset nobody's there. Just don't do it on Friday.
Yeah.
You mad, bitter, angry, frustrated. They don't love me. They don't care about me. They don't value me. You put pastor appreciation on a competitive day. I've got to compete with, I just got to work, my feet tired, my feet hurt. My son said he got a basketball game. I had to go take it. But pastor appreciation is Friday. I know, I want to be there, but I got other things that are. So 3 years in the back, I realized I'm not doing this on Friday. Just do it on a Sunday morning. When they're already here. Now, I'm not hurt. You're not hurt. You don't feel pressure. I don't feel pressure to have my guests show up and we tiptoe it out. Hold on, Doc. We're going to wait a little bit. They're on their way. They don't want to show up and talk about, man, the people, I give my heart to them. I give my soul to them. No. You just gave an expectation that's not healthy. It's better to insulate yourself from hurt by setting yourself up for people who will make you an option when you make them a priority. And I know we like, man, I'm going to do 8 days. But you do 8 days in today's world, you ain't going to get them all 8. You might as well just do 1 or 2 big festive ones, get them all there, then do 8 days and have 10 people over 8 days. All right. So here it is. It's critically important that we set culture. Culture is critical. Because if it's important to you, then you need to verbalize that this is an important opportunity. We don't want you to miss it. This is very important. And you need to emphasize that 8 weeks out. Because if you throw it on people 2 weeks, that's not enough. In radio, they teach you people need to hear it 7 times before they even remember it once. So you need to say it and say it and say it and say it and say it. If you're not saying, and we do need to do a better job of this as well, if you're not saying your church's mission statement over and over, these people only hear it 22 times out a year. You need to say it and say it and say it until they believe it. Our church out in Claremont, their celebration phrase and very sympathizing, God's crazy about you. And every week they say to their members, just want to let you know, God's crazy about you. They got signs when you leave, God's crazy about you. They got t-shirts, God's crazy about you. Why? Because you need to tell people it over and 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 over again. Good morning, church. Just want to let you know we love God, we love people, we're here to change the world. All right, open up your Bibles. We're telling them every week. Ever heard the pastor that opens up his Bible? It's probably more than y'all because it's more word of faith or whatever. You get it. Hold up your Bible again. This is my Bible. I believe I can do what it says I can do. Right? And then all of a sudden you can finish the whole phrase by yourself because they've repeated it so much that now you know it verbatim yourself. You gotta say it and 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 say it. Oh, they've heard it too much. You gotta say it and say it and say it and say it. Man, I don't want them. You gotta talk about tithing. You gotta say it and say it and say it. Well, they tired of hearing it. They ain't heard you enough. Here it is. So we want to create culture. So empowering people to create culture is important. The pastor don't want to bear the burden of being the one to create culture. It's not a very good thing. We want to empower people, members, visitors, servants. Listen, I want you to play a part in creating culture. Well, how do I do that, Pastor? I want you to figure out how to give a person in the church a wow experience. What does that mean? Whatever you think would be a wow. Mama, that's a beautiful dress. Where did you get it? No, here's $5. You know, here's a gift card to Starbucks. Wow. I just want to tell you I'm thankful for you being a part of this church. Can you imagine all your leaders figuring out, you don't even have to give away money. Just walking up to somebody and saying, listen, Bishop, I'm just so glad you're a part of this church. I don't know if anybody's told you, but my life brightens up when I see you walk through them doors. Thank you for coming. No, if they've never told you, thank you for coming. I went to church this Sunday. I just started doing crazy stuff. Oh, wow. Nobody baked me a pie. I don't know if I want to eat this or not. What's going on? Why? You're creating wow moments. Listen, people have been beat up before they come to church. They've been hurt. They've been taken advantage of. They're broken, a lot of them. They're saved but broken. And that's one of the greatest challenges in the church, is that we have gifted, broken gifts. So they can't hold anointing because they keep leaking it because they're broken. And then we find out on the front page of the paper that they're broken and so forth. But here's the thing, we need to create experiences so that they don't forget this place. You know, one thing that everybody remembers is love. Amen. All right. Culture is important, right? So here's the thing. If you ever think of firing somebody, do it then. You never think about firing people you enjoy. You don't. If you think about firing somebody, you need to get rid of them at that moment. Because it's going to bite you later. You're going to say to yourself, man, I should have did it when I said I should have. Okay. If I see a check come across my desk, it should make me smile. Except for bills. But if it's a person, when you see the check, you say, oh yeah, absolutely, pay them. Man, if we could, we'd pay them more. Why? Because people should be assets to your life. Don't pay a leech.
That's good, man. That's good.
All right. So here's a few things that are important to culture. Clarity. You gotta be clear. You gotta be clear. Clarity is key. How do you become clear? You gotta say it and say it and say it and say it and say it. Clarity is key. People need commitment. You have to figure out a way, we have to figure out a way to get members galvanized. There's no formulas for it, so I don't know. How to get them committed to the local church. To come out on a Saturday to learn about being better. I'm sure there are a lot more people that should have registered that didn't. How do we get them committed to the local church? How do we show them the eternal redemptive value of their service? Maybe it's a story. One of my guys said, yeah, Pastor, we should do testimony service. Culture changes every what? When was the last time you seen testimony service? It's because people don't know what to talk about. They get up there like, okay, they take the mic and the mic just, it does something to people. When people get a microphone, they can never follow their time. People who are shy, you're like, you got 2 minutes, they're like, I don't really like to talk. 10 minutes later, I'm gonna put this mic down sooner or later. Right? So maybe to be able to capture and control, because I don't want to give you a microphone and then people are live streaming me and all of a sudden I'm all over the world because of your crazy statement. Maybe we need to do a video of your testimony and play it on the screen so we can encourage members to know other people are being blessed being a part of this church. Listen to this story of a mother that came in and she finds this place as a beacon of hope and her kids love it and she got a sermon that changed her life and we're going to play it on the screens. 1, we can control how much time it is. 2, they're not going to go off script and we got it down to control. Control culture. You have to control the culture. Clarity is important. Clarity is so important to the culture that you're trying to create. Commitment is important in a culture of collaboration. I don't build a culture anymore of a one-person superstar. There's no one superstar in my church. There's always 2 of you. Just in case one of your personalities checks in, we can get rid of it. So I have literally made our church in a place to where we have a multiple personality doing everything. So if you're a worship leader and you decide, like, I don't want to do it anymore, cool. Your co-lead will take over and we won't even realize it. By the time you're gone, my church will take people a couple weeks. Where's such and such? Oh, they've been gone 3 months. Really? I didn't know that. I thought they had other cameras. Yeah, they're gone. Praise God. Amen. What's going for? But no, seriously, we created a dual system because you cannot put all your eggs into one basket. And what we've done in churches, we put our democracy is not set up. We have a president and a vice president. We have a lieutenant governor and a governor. Why? Because you need dual control. Even in the school systems, in the educational realms, and working with kids, they always talk to you about dual control. Well, it's the same thing in the church. You don't want one person in control of everything, because if that one person doesn't sing, everything is gone.
Amen.
Or if that one person don't lead the song, everybody like, come on, man, we ain't got time for you. Finish your song so the leader can sing. No, you want dual control. You want multiple people being able to do that so that you can easily cross-train and remove people from one place to another. If you have one person doing everything, you're in trouble. Because that one person's going to hold you hostage. If they decide and wake up that church aid offered me $15 more, you need to pay me. I'm going to leave and I'm going to leave wrong. Because remember, black folk don't leave the church well. We don't break up well with churches. We do not do that well. We go out kicking, screaming, talking bad, whatever. It don't matter. So the thing about it is that we need to understand that we need to have good control. A culture of collaboration is a lot better than individualism.
That's good.
Because listen, the praise and worship leader, they tired, but they gotta perform because it's all on them. But if they had a dual control, they could say, listen, you take it this week, I'm tired. I just need to rest. And it's no problem. Because the church is now used to seeing multiple voices and not just one. Multiple ushers. I ain't listening to you because you're in charge. Well, if you're used to seeing dual control, it's easy to do that. And now, dual control means this. If that person tells you something you don't want to hear, you'll hear the assistant. So now it doesn't mean that one person has to say everything for me to affirm it as gospel. Dual control is very important. And you need to have accountability. And that's a word that gets thrown around the church. But here's the easy way just to figure out people are missing. Accountability, you need to keep members accountable. Send them messages when they're missing. Well, Pastor, how are we going to know what they're missing? We have a big church. Cool. We have a small church. Well, we should be able to know people are missing. We should call them the minute we notice them, and it's in 2 weeks. Hey, we haven't seen you. What's going on? Oh, you know, that devil busy, huh? And you can catch them before you call them 4 months from now. They are drunk now. They devil got them. If you had called me 2 weeks ago, you had a greater chance at pulling me in. Remember I talked about systems at the beginning? Information is key. So we know you're missing. If we pull your records and we see you haven't given in 4 weeks, you ain't been here. How you know I was missing? We just know. Pull your giving record. Oh, Pastor, I'm in church every Sunday. Cool, you're just not a giver. Amen. Praise God. Right? So we know because your envelope lets us know you've been present. Amen. So pull have data, pull your records, now you know, oh man, such and such ain't been here in 3 months. Hey, we just called to check on you. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay. Church called me, okay. I'll be there tomorrow. Hey, my church is awesome. Why are they awesome? Man, I was visiting. Pastor called me. Had somebody reach out to me. They care about me. So that's important. Keep people accountable. Accountability is key. Here's the next piece. I won't belabor this too long. Culture needs great people, but it also needs people with capacity. Some of us are frustrated at people who can't do the job, but they don't have the capacity to do the job. They want to, but their capacity limits them.
That's good.
So don't get mad at me because I can't fill up a gallon. You should have had enough discernment to see I don't have the capacity. So capacity is important. Just because you want to lead like Israel Hart or Travis Green, you just may not have the capacity. And stop lying to people and tell them they have the capacity because they don't. If my son says, Dad, I want to be LeBron James. Son, you're probably never going to be LeBron James. That's not right. You should tell your kids they can do whatever they can. Yeah, keep telling them that. So, practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. Because you could be a bad tree that's growing crooked. And just because you're growing doesn't mean you're growing right. Son, you don't have the genes that LeBron has, you don't have the bone structure that he has, but you can be the best you can be. Because if I tell you you can be the best LeBron James, now you're disappointed, you think you're a failure, you're not as good because you can't get his muscle structure, you don't have his genetics, you don't have his body type, and we need to let people know their capacity. All right, so these keys to a culture that I always lean on. So this is a term that some use for culture. Culture is a set of living relationships working towards a shared goal. Culture is a set of living relationships working towards a shared goal. We need to share the goal. If we share it, we care for it the same. If I think it's yours, then I'm not going to care for it. I stop everyone who says, oh yeah, I go to your church. No, 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 you go to our church. It's not your church, our church. Change language matters. Because if you think it's your church, then I don't care what happened to you, that's your church. It ain't my problem. No, it's our church. Just that simple term for people makes a difference. Yeah, I've been to your church. No, 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 no. You've been to our church. We paid for this. We built this. We established this. Now, you can't tear it down by saying, this is my church. Well, then you just killed the our. If it's our church, it's ours, even in good times and bad times. I'm still going to say so. We know it's yours, Pastor. We know your name's on the building. We already know that. We don't need your ego trip on Sunday morning.
It's good.
This is our church. And it is our church. If I stop giving, you have no job. Organizational culture includes tangibles and intangibles. The things we can see, the way people dress and behave. So everything, there is a culture. You need to determine what your culture is. Is your culture a suit culture? If it is, you need to know that. Is it, can anybody come in jeans? If they can, you need to know that. Maybe we won't put that on your stuff. We are not, we want you to dress up in the house of God. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's the culture of your church, let people know. But don't let them come in with some jeans and a t-shirt and then you mad at them. Amen. You disrespected our people. We're at a funeral again, at this 30-year-old funeral, which is one of the most learning things I've seen, just observing. So all the pastors get off and then all the young people just get up and leave. They don't wait for the family, they don't even wait for pastors to leave. And the older lady said, this generation is so disrespectful. They have no regard for family or clergy. And one of the pastors leaned over and said, Mama, they don't know your church protocol. They ain't been to your church. So you disappointed because the young people ain't got no respect for the old people in the family. Well, it would have been nice if you would put on a program. Please wait till the family has departed before you. So it's creating expectations and letting people know the expectations so they're not offended by not being able to meet the expectations. And whether you say it or not, no, Pastor, you let people come in the way they want. No, there's a way that we look at people who don't fit. And they know I don't belong here. So that's why we need to know our culture. And that's important. The way people are treated is the way they treat their peers. The way they respond to leaders is the air people breathe. If the air is clean and healthy, people thrive and the organization succeeds. But if the air is toxic,